Go ahead, practice at home. Use this photo of elementary school students at recess and practice convincing people that this is good for their psychological development. Or how about this? How about all you hypocrites in government and media actually go yourself?
I love the social distancing squares with the children. Like, here's your play pen, here's your play area. Can you imagine a parent just like knowing, oh, my child, my baby, she had the COVID. I couldn't feed her. I kept throwing Gerber and a spoon at her face inside her square. I couldn't reach her. She was quarantined for 14 days in her square. I couldn't get to her. Because of the stimulus checks, I couldn't afford a hazmat suit to go and caress her. She died from malnutrition. It's awful. She's just lying there in her social distancing square. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, what are we doing? It's so violent. Isn't that a good video? It's such a good video. Because it's not really attacking COVID. It's attacking the media's perception of it. And I would even go as far and take an extrapolation or like an inference that the same thing with climate change deniers, the science people who don't agree with the, you can't quantitatively determine how much of an effect we have on carbon emissions as humans and like what the cycle of change is in this country in terms of carbon in the ozone and so on and so forth, whether it's natural or it's all man-made, right? Industrial Revolution, 1895, 1920 Model T, it's very difficult to ascertain, especially with confusing and confounding characteristics of carbon emissions at different times when in the past that are higher than today, and it's difficult. But those scientists, like if you're a scientist, you're a geologist, whatever, you don't really get an opportunity to publish those articles that are dissenting without huge ridicule, losing your tenure at a university or something. There's money involved that could destroy you, your career, your reputation. The same thing, the epidemiologists, small segments of them. I think there's a guy named John Ioannidis from Stanford. Just thinks that this is blown way out of proportion. But I bet there's a bunch of John Ioannidises that are scientists. They're very, very tenured, of great curriculum vitae that just say this is fucking nuts privately, but they wouldn't dare say it publicly. Wouldn't dare say it publicly because there's money. They want to feed their family. I don't blame them. This whole fear-mongering thing we have now, if you don't agree with the status quo, will come after you and destroy your life. You don't deserve to have your family, your kids go to school, have enough money to pay your electric bill. If you disagree with what CNN says or what the status quo is, ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever, you're in trouble. You're done. We can destroy your life. You'll be fired from your job. You will not be able to pay your rent, and your children will starve. That's kind of the way we live in this society. It's very crazy. You're dangerous. The idea of dissenting from popular opinion means you must be expelled. And by expelling you, by excommunicating you, we must destroy your livelihood because that's the only way to shut you up. And then there might be some recourse where you come around, we'll rehabilitate you. If we think if we deem it important to us, or we think you made a mistake, or we could use you in the future. We being, I don't know, some combination of big tech and the media, and I don't know. It's very disheartening. I love that video though. I mean, Gavin Newsom. Oh my God, the lying, the masks on TV just for the sake of wearing a mask. Like, it's so vile. It's so fake, and that pandering to like the everyday person, scaring them. There's no sense of control there. There's nothing that's like disingenuous about what the purpose of that is in terms of politic. What is the politics behind wearing a mask on TV? It doesn't really seem to be. It seems to be a separate issue, exclusive thereof, more about control, or separating people, keeping people from talking to each other, from questioning the status quo. That's what it seems to be about. I'm going to transition a second to something less serious. James Franco, look at those calves. God, this guy's huge fucking calves. Probably a short guy too, about like 5'9", 5'10", big calves.